Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition of Hugh Living Room. Well, it's not in the living room. We're kind of on a stage. We have just launched the Rana Bokhari for Mayor campaign. What an exciting night. And guess who dropped by? And we're so excited. Robin, thank you for coming out. And who are you going to vote for?
Well, if I could vote, I'd be voting for Rana Bokhari. Vote Rana, vote Rana. Woo woo!
Oh, okay, that's right. You cannot vote.
Not at the moment. I'm still waiting for my permanent residency. And it's been a while, but I just understand it's how it is at the moment. Maybe by October, I will be able to vote.
Oh, well, let's hope for, let's hope for that. But hey, that's another thing that we need to fix in the city, is making sure that people like yourself can get that residency rolling right away. But let's hear how you felt about the whole evening and Rana's speech.
Look, I've got to say, I think Rana did an amazing job. And one of the things that I was super impressed with was she talked about not being here just for 4 years. She talked about being in it for the long haul. And I love the passion about community. And I think I lived in New Zealand at one point and people talked about we're not individuals, we're community first. And it was that just spoke to my soul about we are all in this together. And it can't be this group or this group or this group. It's how do we actually coexist? How do we work together for the common good? And I just loved that she talked about that.
Well, it's interesting too, Robin. I want to hear your perspective. I mean, you've been here in Winnipeg and you are a Winnipegger, but obviously not your home. Back home, in Australia, running for mayor, is it a big deal too, or how does that work in the politics?
Well, I've got to say, really interesting. This is the fourth country I've lived in, and this is the first time I've even thought about anyone running for mayor. And it's not because I'm not interested in what happens. I don't remember it being a big deal, and maybe I'm just in Winnipeg and hanging with my peeps, which has that, but this feels special. Mm-hmm. This feels like standing behind someone that has the values that I have, and maybe that's why I haven't thought about it before, because I haven't been connected to what people have been saying.
Well, and that is so important, and I hope that continues with this campaign, is that we really attract those people that thought that they didn't have a voice, or those people that just didn't care. And I know that you're passionate about mental health, and Rana did speak on that crazy story about the young mom and hitting the pothole and everything kind of going downhill from that. Mental health, and we all know, has taken its toll in the last two years. I think hopefully Rana can make something happen for the good.
I think the statement that I always make now is everything impacts mental health and mental health impacts everything. And so when Rana was talking about how do we look at all of the parts of the city and interrelating to each other, I think that's so true. And every piece, the story about the young mum, every piece impacts our mental health. So when we start to look at what do we fund, what do we do, it's got to be in there on everything. And it's not just about mental health, it's health as a whole. It's holistic. It's the four cornerstones of it. It's the physical, mental, spiritual, social, it's all of it, because they all impact each other. So I'm hoping that I can get in Rana's ear and go, woohoo, peer support, mental health, let's make it happen.
Okay, well, I think she's in the background there, so hopefully she did hear that. No, you're fine, you're fine. We have a few more that we want to hear from, so you can rest your feet. Thank you so much, Robin. All right?
Appreciate the time, and Rana, thanks for inviting me, and I'm behind you all the way, whatever we can do.
Woohoo!
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay, so it's past the mic now. I'm going to pass it over to Joanne. Joanne, come on down. Oh, I feel like it's The Price is Right.
Well, Bob.
Well, let me see on the Rana wheel behind you. Okay, so Joanne, you come with a lot of knowledge. I guess I want to say about the speaking part, the speech part. And I learned a new word, stump speech. Okay, so what is a stump speech?
Well, so that's what Rana just gave, was really her stump speech. It was her opportunity to lay out her values, really, and the values that will form the foundation of everything that comes after this. This campaign is a long time. It's not, it's not 30 days. It's happening in October, and we are just at the beginning of, it's still May. It's still May.
Okay, yeah.
So we're just at the beginning of June, so we have months left. And the beauty of a campaign of this length is that it gives Rana an opportunity to talk to community and to say, these are the three things I stand for. So community and prosperity and sustainability. Now, what does that mean to you? And how do we better understand the problems that are happening in the city? How do we understand the story of Maria, that young mom, right? So that we can solve the problems and not put Band-Aids on the problems. So this is the first speech, but there will be obviously more iterations as over the summer, as she starts to talk to Winnipeggers and understand what their priorities are. You'll see that that speech really take shape, and it will shift to more of a policy discussion, and that's a really exciting shift that an opportunity for Winnipeggers to really speak to her and inform the next vision of Winnipeg.
Well, and your job, although it's putting words down on the paper, it's a really, really important one. And when you're talking about how the speech will change, what do you look for? What are some of the triggers that, okay, I'm going to, put this in the speech? And I know that Rana does bring her own personal touch on it, but
Rana
yourself,
let's be clear, this is Rana's speech. I helped to put some words around it, but she and I spent a lot of time together in the last few weeks, and really, I had only met her face to face for the first time maybe about a month ago, and immediately my heart was like, how do I help her achieve this vision? And I have a skill, which is helping people put words to the things that they believe, and so I'll look for what she's coming back and telling us and saying, hey, you know what, I heard. I had a really important conversation today. I was at a community meeting with, the League of Persons with Disabilities, and they shared something that I want us to take into consideration. So she will really drive that. Her conversations on the doorstep with community members will come back to us and say, okay, well, here's how I'm thinking about sustainability. Like, we were just maybe thinking about the environmental impacts, and there's a whole financial side of things that we really need to focus on. We're focused on that too, but but her stories that she brings back from the campaign trail really going to inform the policy platform that comes out in, I guess, September probably.
how much fun was this for you to do? Because I know that your previous job was in government, and now this is the political full ring, 3-ring circus. I say?
Yeah, I've never been able to be in the room. So I've written lots of speeches in my life, but I got to stand kind of in the corner and watch the delivery of something that is a lot of heart and soul. So it was pretty amazing. I got to say, Rana delivers well, but this isn't my speech. This is Rana's speech. This is Rana's ideas, and she certainly brought it to the stage today and to a packed room here. It was amazing.
Oh, it was. And you know what, Joanne, you did an amazing job though too, because we all know Rana. She twiddles her hair, and she says, "Hold on," a lot, and all of those Rana-isms weren't there tonight. But no, it was an amazing speech.
But that's part of Rana, right? Rana is one of the most intelligent women that I've had the pleasure to meet, and I cannot believe how I've been living in this city for as many years as I have, and our paths have not crossed. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to help her focus some of those words and really demonstrate what she has to offer and the vision she has for the city. It's amazing.
Well, we thank you and thank you for your support. And I know that it's going to be a fun journey. Thanks so much, Joanne.
Go Rana!
Go Rana!
Go Rana!
And we're going to pass the mic off to Larissa.
Thanks. Hi, Tracy.
Hello. Finally. Yes. Larissa is new to the Hugh living room, but you're now signed on for life.
Okay. Oh, is that how it works?
Oh,
Okay.
yes. You have a story. We all share it. It's a safe place, as you well aware. I want to talk to you about Rana's values, and a lot of them, obviously, go around diversity, equality, equity, and inclusion. And so I want you, if you can, Larissa, please share your personal story about, inclusion and all of these things that are now part of our everyday life, really.
Yeah. Well, for those of us that were lucky enough to hear this speech this evening, the story that Rana shared is very relatable, especially for a second-generation Canadian who has, as a daughter of immigrants coming. And I mean, it always begins with lived experience. There's a whole history, just like Rana told us about the struggles her own mother did and how that was a model for her moving forward and towards today. For myself, I see that with my own parents. I believe my own active relationship with the DEI world, diversity, equity, and inclusion, probably began in my youth, like looking at multiculturalism and doing fashion shows and potlucks to see, this is what a sari looks like, and it's really more about awareness, and this is what diversity should look like. But that evolved for me as I went through academic study, learning about cross-cultural training, for example, and we saw, and also doing further international studies and immersions and travel myself, and seeing what that looked like, immersing in other cultures and what that exchange could be. And then again, evolving onto the study of interculturalism. And in this way, we are not just seeing what diversity should look like, not just inviting people to the table and understanding this concept of we can go visit the on our next vacation, and hey, I'm inclusive. I've been to this. I wasn't at an all-inclusive retreat. That counts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. To intercultural, where we are being changed and moved by each other's stories and learning from one another and becoming something entirely different, transforming. And I think that sort of tells that shape of my own experience going through DEI, to becoming even a diversity, equity, inclusion professional myself. And so, and we heard this with Rana's story this evening as well.
Yes. For you, Larissa, what does this mean for young women that look like Rana, that look like yourself, hearing a speech like that, and now hopefully as soon to be Rana will be out and about? What do you think that will mean?
Well, first off, bless you for calling me young. That's very sweet.
We're all young. We're all young.
My children certainly don't call me that anymore. But yes, that's a very important question, and I think it's really pivotal to this campaign, because what does a BIPOC or a woman of color have to offer to this race? Well, absolutely everything. Representation is key. What that means to me, to be able to see a person of authority, a person in leadership, trying and succeeding to be the mayor of Winnipeg, the city of Winnipeg, that says something to me as a professional, to my children moving on. I mean, you think back to Kamala Harris when she was elected, and the cries that came out of support, the little girls that had pictures of her next to their bedside because, hey, maybe mommy, someday I can become this too. So it's really important for a woman of color to be able to see someone like Rana and to feel like we are reflected, because that means that we count, and sometimes it feels like we don't.
And I guess your final, words on where this whole campaign will go and what kind of journey will it be?
Oh, well, I guess we can only see what it will be and where the journey will go, but it will sure to be it's sure to be exciting. And I know that Rana's going to bring some very important points to the table, and these are things. It's not because it's not just about what she offers or what any person of color may offer. It's about what the city needs right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that everything that we heard this evening sort of hit the nail on the head there.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Larissa, for showing support. And I know that you will be along for a very, very fabulous ride.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thanks
Tracy.
so much. Okay, and Linda. Okay, Linda, you always outshine with the colors.
Gotta bring it.
I know. Love
Bring
it.
the spring.
Bring the spring. I know. Okay. You've known Rana on the Hue living room, on the virtual chats. Our good Rana. I already Rana. Sorry, I had to do the hair thing. But, but what did you think of the Rana tonight?
The Rana tonight exceeded everyone's expectations. She's so brilliant. Everyone in the room was connected to her story, her passion, her vision for the city. I think that's what I took away, was her personal commitment and her ability to share that with others and to have a vision of all of us connected, all of us filled with possibility. I think it's a brilliant message. I look forward to watching this unfold because I am 100% sure she will be mayor. And all of us, we will get to have years of her passion and commitment to our city. And I think we are in for a wild ride.
Yeah, I was going to say wild, but I said adventurous or something like that. Okay, Linda, I'm going to put you on the hot spot here, or maybe not. I asked Larissa what, seeing Rana run for mayor, what does that mean for the young women in the BIPOC community? Let's talk now about the white women, the Caucasian women, and there are a lot out there, and that's a big vote. How do you think the response will be with Rana?
That's a great question. And, what came to mind when I was listening to Larissa was for young women of color, if you can see it, you can be it. That to me is very important, that representation. But I will speak as a white woman. I think that it is challenging. I think that, honestly, for the past couple of years during the pandemic, during Black Lives Matter, during seeing Indigenous lives matter, we came to terms with the fact that our city, our country is not equal. We couldn't hide from that anymore. And I think that shining that light into that darkness was an important journey. And I think that it is something that we have to be committed to. And I appreciated when Rana was speaking, as she said, I've been an ally for the Indigenous community, and ally is not a noun, it's a verb, it's an action. So every day we have to make a commitment to Who is at the table? I loved that analogy. Who is speaking at the table? Who are we passing the microphone to? You know, that's something that's been a commitment of mine as a speaker, as a coach. I'm very aware of the person who has the microphone has power. And that's something that came from my own mother, who was a very good public speaker and a leader. So I really appreciated Rana's story about, channeling her mother's strength. And so being aware as a white woman, who has the microphone? And can you pass it? Can you give it to somebody else whose voice needs to be heard? So I think that's, I think that's going to be a wonderful part of this journey.
Oh, well, I kind of was just thinking back on all of those conversations that we've had and all of the incredible ones that we're going to have again. And I don't know if Rana has now left the room. Oh, okay. And I guess she has, the usual. She's never on time. But
She's shaking some hands, kissing
I
some
know.
babies. That's
She's
good.
gotta
That's
do
what she
that.
needs to
She's
be
gotta
doing.
I know. Where do you see her now with the other candidates?
Where do I see her with the other candidates? I think Rana has that perfect combination, as Joanne was saying, of commitment to passion and policy. You know, tonight's speech was about her personal passions, but when you combine her brilliance with policy, she will be a very, very strong contender. I really believe that, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. One of the conversations that I remember having with Rana when she was speaking about making the decision to go into politics again was that she really wanted to make sure that gender and race were the part of the conversation. And that was so important to her, and I really admired that. Her passion was almost second to that, making sure those were the conversations that were going to be had. And so I think with all of the contenders, she is going to be making sure that these important conversations are going to be had. So I think it'll benefit all the contenders. Will have to,
Lift up
their game to get on her level.
Well, and it's kind of interesting. We go back to where the city is now. And what I kind of twigged in is that she used the word envious. And I was kind of going, where did that come from? And then with the explanation that we want to be envied by everybody about the quality of life, the city that we live in, everything else. Can we do it?
I think so, absolutely. I think what she is tapping into is potential. And as a coach, that's what I work with people is working with their potential to greatness, to achieve what their dreams are, what they've always wanted to succeed at. And I think I love that Rana is seeing Winnipeg as, full of potential. And the result we want is to be an enviable city, a place where diversity matters, sustainability matters, so prosperity matters, and that voices are heard. She sees the potential, and she sees the result, and the most important thing is that she knows how to get us there, right?
Well, I hope so. But she's, here she comes.
Here she comes.
She's making her grand entrance. Shoes
Barefoot.
off. Boop, boop. No, you shoes on. Okay, yes.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, they're gorgeous.
Yes, and it's okay. We're live, but that's all right. People can wait.
And she's gonna do it all looking good.
Of course. Throughout this campaign, though, it's about the shoes.
It is.
All right, it's about the shoes.
These heels.
Yes. So, of course, we're open to any kind of shoe sponsor, right? So, okay, you have to pull. Yeah, there you go. How do you feel?
Humbled. Yeah, I feel humbled. I feel, it's sorry. It's hard to it's hard to launch something in such a short amount of time, for one thing. I mean, we did this in just a matter of days. And yeah, just to see that diversity in the room, so many people I knew, but a lot of people I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, so that was amazing. It just felt very powerful to me, and yeah, I felt a lot of love, and I felt a lot of support, and a lot of excitement.
And that is important.
Yeah.
And I know that your dad was here. Your dad was here and so proud.
You know
So,
what?
so
I keep
proud.
saying I felt him all day today, but I always feel him. But no, I know he would never not be with me.
Always.
Right? So, but I felt him and I felt good. But I also, I wanted to take that time to acknowledge my mom and just where they came from and how they got here and how much this means, right? It's not just nothing.
No.
Like these are very historic things. I mean, at least within my family, at least in our community, they don't happen every day. So, yeah, it was meaningful to take that opportunity to acknowledge all of that, for sure.
So now the speech is done.
Yes.
Your launch is done.
Yes.
Being mayor, what does that mean for you now, Rana? Because a week ago, we were just thinking, okay,
Yeah.
speeches were being written and things were being booked, but it wasn't really real.
No, it's real now.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real now. And I think the most powerful thing is the more real it is, the more I'm sure that this is what I need to be doing. So every day that goes by, every hour that goes by, that I continue on this journey, I'm more and more convinced that this is exactly where I need to be. The more people I talk to, I had somebody call me this afternoon, and he says, and I don't know if he was here. His name was Clyde. He was just an amazing senior, and he called, and I just answered my phone because my personal phone. But I guess my personal phone is easy to find apparently. And he says, he's like, "Is your name Rana Bokhari?" And I was just like, "Rana Bokhari, yes." And he was just like, "You're running for mayor?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I'm having some trouble." And I said, "Oh, like, what's going on? Let's talk about it." And he's a senior, and he was just like, "You know anything about taxes and assessments?" And I said, "You know, not specifically at this moment, on the fly, but like, what's going on?" And he was telling me how, you know, he's struggling. He got an assessment that he doesn't agree with, and now they're making him pay $50. The key to the story is that this senior was so shook. His life was so disrupted because, number one, he had to go in person. Number two, he had to pay $50 to get something that it should have come to him very naturally. And those stories, they mean, like, when you hear those stories, that's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. It's just a real person with a real issue. He's on a fixed income. $50 to him is $1 million to somebody else. Could be $1,000 to somebody else, you know? So, and I keep hearing stories like that. And that's why I keep saying it's about people. Mm-hmm. It's about people. It's about community. And, you know, and that's what we're going to do. And we're doing it now, so.
And then I have to talk about your family.
Yes.
It was beautiful to see them all there. And,
Yes.
and the powerful story about your mom,
Mm-hmm.
being a survivor, raising all of your kids,
Yep.
all of you guys.
All of us, and we were wild.
On a farm. And then you talked about you inheriting that, the fierceness. How important will this be for you throughout this campaign to maintain that fierceness without, as we all know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it, pissing off some people?
Yep. It's going to be hard, not because it's about pissing off people. That's not the issue. The issue is we're always made to feel that if we speak up, it's somehow rude or flippant or whatever term you want to throw at it. Oh, she wasn't nice to me that day. when women speak with force, take it as them speaking with force. Take it as them speaking with fierceness, with fire, because they believe in something. It's not my job to massage. And I don't mean community, but I mean, like generally speaking, like none of us should be tiptoeing around truth or justice or equality at the expense of bruised egos because you didn't like how I said it. That's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for society. It's very dangerous in how we're going to move forward in the future if we're not allowed to say what we need to say. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people will get pissed off, but I also know that people will also feel my heart. I feel like people will see my truth. They'll feel my vision. They'll know that no matter what I'm saying with sincerity and with a genuine truth that I believe in it. And I think that's really powerful.
I know. And of course, thinking of the future, moving on and moving forward, we know that they're going to play on your past political career.
Oh, yeah.
And you put it very succinctly that it is the past, this is the future. What are 2 things that are definitely different about you than the last political run?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first off, we're all human. I think as we age and as we kind of navigate life with different challenges, whether it's work or family, we live and we learn, and every single day is a learning experience. Every single moment is a learning experience. And, someone told me a long time ago that there's no real such thing as failure, because every failure is a step to your next growth. We take so much teachings and knowledge from everything that happened, and I don't see my past as even a negative. I see it as such an amazing learning experience. I could not stand here today and do what I'm doing today had I not had that past. So I honor it. I don't shy away from it. It's a part of who I am. I own it, and so there's nothing negative about that in my world. I've never seen it as a negative. I saw it as something that I needed to heal from, like any of us, but not as it was a negative experience that I wish I didn't have the experience. That's not what I believe at all.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This is your first political interview. No
Amazing,
hard-pressed questions.
amazing.
Yes, so all of our Hue crew, all of our Hue living room crew, we're all behind you.
I appreciate that so much. And if I may, I'd like to acknowledge Tracy Koga, who is my campaign manager. And if I may tell a little story, I took Tracy to an event yesterday. And we walked in at 5:15. We walked out at about 6:15, maybe at the max. And by the time I got into my car, I had 6 different messages being like, your campaign manager is the best. Your campaign manager is fierce. And I was sending her messages being like, holy, there's somebody, but I acknowledge you, I love you, I honor you, and I thank you for giving me that time and helping me, embark on this journey. And, Joanne and, everybody. And I don't know where the rest of the team is, and Charlie and Rebecca and Graham and Alicia and Andrea and, John, you guys. Do we know that we're the only team right now that has a full-on female team? Ow.
Yes, so there you go.
Pretty cool.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Thank you all for joining us on the Hue Living Room, and we'll see you next week.